Well, we've made it through the winter months, and now HOA boards are walking around their property looking for the type of maintenance they need to do this spring, headed into the warmer summer months. And power washing is among the subjects. We're going to talk all about it with Gabe Wagner. He is the owner of Aqua Blast Minnesota, right here on the HOA Leadership Network.
Moving on here, this is called our soft wash system. And so this is how we wash all houses. It's able to, take our chemical from this tank here. We can dilute it down to the level we need to with our dials, so we can either go stronger or weaker if we need to, depending on the surface we're working with.
Hi everybody, Mark Foster on the HOA Leadership Network. I'm joined here today by Gabe Wagner. He is the owner of Aqua Blast Minnesota, one of our great sponsors of the network. Gabe, great to see you today.
Great to have you out here, Mark. Appreciate you coming out and bringing the sun with you.
Yes, indeed. And we're on site here in St. Paul at an HOA where you're doing a lot of work, a lot of power washing with your team. What's going on here today?
Absolutely. We're out here doing 7 buildings, 42 units total. Getting it cleaned up for this HOA board. We got contracted through their property management company. And Mark, to be honest with you, this job has pretty much become our bread and butter. We do quite a bit of these siding washes. This community is getting the full works. We're doing their siding, their gutters, their soffits, the trim, all the privacy fences they have. So we're getting everything cleaned up and looking real nice for them.
You know, you've been to our chapter meetings in the past and you've talked a lot about how power washing can have an impact on insurance. How in the world does power washing have either a positive or a negative impact on my HOA insurance premium?
It's a great question. When you're keeping up on your maintenance, keeping up on your cleaning, it shows the insurance company that you're not neglecting your property. Especially shingles are the big one. When you get a hailstorm and you want the roofing company to come out, one thing that insurance is going to point out is that there may be moss or mildew growing on your shingles, and that could be a cause of some damage. When you let algae and mold or organics grow on your siding, it breaks down that material. And so it just allows, it gives the insurance companies one more thing to point out and say, you haven't been on top of your maintenance.
When it comes to gutter cleaning, which is another big topic with, certainly HOA boards, what should we look for when it's time to clean our gutters? The HOA I live in, lots of trees, lots of sticks, and it seems like they all end up in the gutters. So what's the best timing? I presume if it's too early, you don't catch all the debris. If it's too late, it gets too cold.
Exactly. I would plan on doing it twice a year. Everybody always thinks that it only needs to be done in the fall, but when you have a community like the one you're talking about, lots of trees, lots of overhanging branches and stuff like that. So you want to get it done twice a year. A lot of people think we only need it done in the fall when all the leaves finish dropping. But throughout the winter, heavy snowfall or whatever, wind, whatever it may be, can knock down branches or loose debris that clog up those downspouts. So I always say early spring and then into the fall months as well.
I know that some HOAs have in their rules and regs that homeowners cannot do their own power washing. Mm-hmm. Why is that? Why should we be careful about homeowners taking it upon themselves to do their siding or their stucco?
Well, Mark, you can actually do a lot of damage if you don't do things the right way. So out here in this community, we're doing something called a soft wash. We put our cleaner on, we let that do the work, and then we give it a nice low pressure rinse off. So we never use more than about 300 to 400 PSI. We're making sure that surface stays nice and protected. When homeowners use their traditional pressure washer, they take off the top layer of whatever surface they might be cleaning, vinyl, stucco, hardy board, whatever it may be. They're using more brute force to get that, organic, growth off. So you can cause a lot of damage, and everything looks good when it's wet, but once it dries, you can really start to see the damage that you caused.
That seems to also follow along with some pictures you showed at a recent presentation you did from the point of view of a deck, wooden decks, and that can be really problematic if somebody does it the wrong way.
Absolutely. With decks, you got to be very careful. It's more of a restoration process, and you want to do more of a rinse and clean instead of just blasting that paint or stain out. And so when we get in there, the first question or the first couple questions is, do you have a stain or a paint on your deck? And what's the plan for the deck? Do you want to restain, or do you just want to do a general clean? Because it's two different processes, and you want to make sure you do it correctly.
Because once that damage is done,
it's done.
There's no going back. Yeah, another question we get from our chapter members is, okay, you're spraying a lot of water around bushes, on trees, on vegetation. Aren't all these chemicals harmful?
They are not if you take the proper steps for property protection. So we wet everything down. Our chemical is the active ingredient in any outdoor cleaner you get from Home Depot or Menards, and so we dilute it down to the level we need, and then keep all the plants, trees, everything wet during the process, and then make sure we just give everything a nice rinse at the end, and they'll be good to go. We do recommend that any delicate plants such as potted flowers, tomato plants, things like that, we recommend they get taken inside just as a safety precaution, but we do take all the necessary steps to protect your property.
So one last question, you're on site here, beautiful day, you've got a whole crew. How long does it take you to do a development like this?
Well, Mark, something like this would take us about, I would say 4 to 5 hours comfortably. We're able to move very efficiently, and that's because we show up with the right game plan and the right equipment, and we also want to do a good job too. So it's very important to us that every single homeowner here is happy with their service, they're happy with the money that they spent, and then they want us to come back. So we're able to do about 7 of these buildings in about 4 to 5 hours.
Well, it's already looking really great. Gabe Wagner, Aqua Blast Minnesota, thanks for joining today.
Thank you.
I'm Mark Foster on the HOA Leadership Network. You can join us free. Go to our website and join today.
One of these pressure washers is hooked up to the burner right there, so that's what creates the hot water. Really useful for things like oil stains, gum removal, and then graffiti removal is a big one for us. The heat is what really makes a difference when we do that.